Well, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this Easter?
Great.
Have y'all hunted eggs today? No? Yesterday. Cool. We are so glad you're here today. Welcome on this Easter. You have come at a great time because we're starting a brand new series today called The Life You've Always Wanted. We went through What on Earth Am I Here For? And now we're going to the life we've always wanted. Have you ever thought about that? What it is you really want in life? What it is you're really shooting for? I was thinking about that a little bit this week, and as I began to think about it, I began to be disappointed. Have you achieved the life that you had designed for yourself? Has everything gone just exactly the way it's supposed to go? I doubt it. But we get disappointed about things. First of all, we get disappointed because sometimes we don't get what we want. When Carter was a little girl, maybe 10, 12 years old, her parents told her at Christmas that they had the most incredible present that they had ever gotten her. It was going to be fabulous. For 2 weeks, they told her on and on and on how incredible this present was going to be. She was so excited on Christmas. She went and she opened the present, and it was a rock polisher. A rock polisher. That really didn't thrill Carla too much. She had never dreamed of having a rock polisher. She'd never asked for a rock polisher. She'd never wanted a rock polisher, but she got one. And she was in a real pickle because she had to act like she really liked it. We get disappointed about things, don't we? We get disappointed in other people. When I was about 10 or 12 years old, we used to go to church softball league games. Calvary Baptist Church, where I went to church, they had a team that played in the league, and they weren't very good. But, to us kids, it was the major leagues. We went to watch them play. There weren't really very many good players on the team, but there was one. And I think his name was Terry. I can't remember. But he played shortstop. And Terry was magnificent. He handled every ball. He was a great hitter. He was a handsome guy. And the guys absolutely adored him. He was our hero. He was our major leaguer. We would go to church and we would talk about what he had done that week and those sort of things. And one week I went to church and one of my friends said, "Hey, I heard something about Terry." I said, "What'd you hear? What'd you hear?" He said, "I heard he was in a store this week and he bought a Playboy." Crushing. A crushing blow, because I was going to church and everything was all right and everybody did the right thing all the time, at least in public. And it just crushed me. How could he let me down? How could he act that way? I got disappointed in other people. I remember when I found out about Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle was my baseball hero, and I found out he had an alcohol problem. And that he ran around a little bit and those sort of things, and I was just so disappointed. And maybe that's the reason why I haven't achieved the life I'm supposed to, but I don't think so. See, the truth is, if I can tell you the truth, the truth is, it's us. It's me. I think back through my life, and I think about events that have happened and that have taken me off the path of what I really wanted. I can remember the first lie, maybe not the first lie I ever told my parents, but the first one I remember, and it's stuck in my head forever. I'm maybe about 6 years old, something like that, and I'm out playing with my brother, and my younger brother, who's maybe a year and a half, is out there with us. And he gets over into a ball hitch, and he's playing with it, and he gets all greasy. But we're over there playing, we're not paying any attention, but we saw what he was doing. My mom comes out, and she is furious because he's got grease all over him. She said, "What was he doing? What did he get into?" And I said, "I don't know." Have you ever done that? I don't know. I was standing by the tomatoes. I don't know what was going on. It just happened. I don't know. And I knew it was a lie. And the funny thing about lies are, have you noticed that when you tell one, the second one comes easier? And the third one and the fourth one. In fact, they just did a scientific study and they came up and they said, you know what? When you tell a lie, it makes it easier to lie. Every time you lie, it makes it easier and easier and easier until you can just lie all the time. And I think I kind of did that some. And I look back and I think, well, it's a small thing. I was just a kid, but it's still kind of disappointing that I did that. There are other times, that things happened. When I was in high school, I ran track. I had a pretty successful track career. And so the coach would just give me my workouts each day. And then he'd go work with the rest of the team, and I'd work my workouts. And I figured out that I could cheat. I didn't have to run everything he gave me to run. You know, I'm still doing okay in the track meets and those sort of things. And I didn't have to run all these would run, and so I would cheat on the workouts. And I knew it was wrong. But it really didn't affect much. It may have affected how the turnout came for the year and those sort of things. But I look back on that and I think, you know, I just cheated myself. I didn't cheat anybody else with that. It didn't bother him at all. I was just cheating myself. As I grew up then, we got married. Carter and I got married, and we had our little boy. He was about 3 or 4 years old. It was just about this time of year. We were in Greenwood, Arkansas, and we were watching the NCAA tournament. It was about the regional round. And the Arkansas Razorbacks, who were our team, were very good that year, rated first or second, something like that. And they're in this game, and it's a very tough game as they're going through it. My wife and I are sitting down watching the game, and Keaton, who's 3, maybe 4 years old, comes in and wants to play. We said, no, not right now. We're watching the game. You go on. We'll get with you later. And if you know anything about kids, that didn't satisfy, and he got more and more and kept bothering us. And finally, I just got mad, and I said, hey, we're watching a game. You just go to your room right now. Go in the room and shut the door. And then we watched the game. I don't remember what happened in the game, but I remember sitting there thinking, boy, that really wasn't a very good dad. Then all of a sudden, I hear this crash. The window. He has taken his basketball, and he's dribbling his basketball, and it has left his hands, and it's gone through the window in his room. And it's a tense game, and this has happened, and I got up, and I stomped into his room, and I picked him up, and I wore him out. I said, what do you think you're doing? Just get in that bed and lay there. I went back in to watch the game, and I couldn't really even think about the game. All I could think about was my son, who had been given to me. I'm supposed to be a good parent to him, and all he wanted was my attention. And so I left the game, and I went in there, and he was asleep on his bed. He had cried himself to sleep. And I knelt by him, and I cried. I cried because of what I had done. I was so incredibly disappointed in the way that I had done that. And that's just one of many occasions. About 6 or 8 years ago, I came to a real defining moment in my life. I'm not sure what happened, but for the first time, I looked at my life. And even though I thought I'd lived a good life, and Carter and I had been married for like 30 years, and we were just having a great time and all that, or I at least thought we were. But then I realized that as a husband, I really hadn't done very well. I mean, I pledged my love to her, she pledged her love to me, and we've always been faithful to one another and those sort of things, but I just didn't. I did what I wanted to do, and she followed and helped. She just put herself out there all the time, making me better and those sort of things. And I realized that I really had neglected her. I really had not poured into her in the same way she had poured into me. And I was very disappointed. And I told her, I went up to Carla and I said, Carla, listen, I promise you, the rest of your life, I'm going to dedicate my life to you. And she smirked. And she said, you don't have enough time. And it's true, I don't. But I look at my life, and it's been a disappointment. So many things have taken me in the wrong direction. Do you feel that way? I know you do. I know that a lot of you. I mean, you may have success in life, and I had success in life, but there were so many things that just drug me down. And I think about the life I always wanted, and I wasn't getting it because of the things that I was doing. So I wondered, is there something I'm missing? Does God have something for me? Let's look at this scripture. This is Jesus talking in John chapter 10. And he says this. So Jesus explained it to them. I tell you the truth, I am the gate for the sheep. Now let me stop right there. The gate for the sheep, to catch you up a little bit. This is an agrarian economy, and they have shepherds who herd sheep. Now, when you herd sheep, you don't herd sheep like you herd cattle. You herd cattle by pushing them, getting behind them, and telling them to go. You don't do that with sheep. Sheep, you lead by leading. You walk out in front of them, you talk with them, they get to know your voice, and wherever you go, they will follow. Two shepherds could be walking with flocks of sheep. They could greet each other and walk right past each other. The sheep would intermingle, and none of the sheep would get lost with the wrong shepherd. They knew their shepherd's voice, and they would follow their shepherd's voice. And Jesus said, I am the gate for the sheep. What they would do at night is often, if they could find a place, a walled area, the shepherd would walk in through the gate and walk around until all the sheep had gotten into the fence. And then he would go and lay down in that opening. He became the gate to the sheep. The walls protected them from the side, so nothing could get over the walls and hurt them. And so if anything was going to get to them, it had to come through the gate. And he says, that's what I am. I'm the gate for the sheep. All who came before me were thieves and robbers. But the true sheep did not listen to them. He said, anybody who came before me was going the wrong direction. I mean, you hear people all the time tell you, well, don't worry about that. You do this way. Don't worry about doing God's stuff. You just do what you're supposed to do. There are all sorts of people that try to convince us of things like that. And what Jesus is saying is, I'm the gate. I'm protecting my sheep. I am the one who's created you. I've given you purpose in life. And if you're not following me, then there are thieves and robbers. The thief's purpose, he said, is to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Sometimes I'm the thief of my life. Anything that goes in an opposite direction of where Jesus is a thief. But he said, my purpose, and this is so key, maybe the most important verse in the Bible right here. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life. A rich and satisfying life. Rich like money? He's going to give you so much money. That's not what he's saying. I mean, think about it for just a minute. Does money make you happy? No. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to argue cases and do all this sort of stuff. And my goal was to make $20,000 a year, which was an enormous amount of money back then. I mean, my family made like $5,000 a year, and that's what we lived on. But $20,000 a year, man, I would have everything. When I was just getting ready to go take the LSAT to go to law school, God called me in a different direction. But since then, you know what? I've made $20,000. It was nothing. I mean, you know, economy changes, things change, and it isn't as much as it was back then, but I made $20,000. I made $40,000. I made $60,000, and it really didn't matter. It didn't help my happiness at all. In fact, I've watched people who have tons of money. Maybe you win the lottery, and suddenly you've got concerns. You've got to protect your money. You've got to protect yourself. Somebody might kidnap one of your kids to get your money, to get your millions of dollars. It becomes a real hassle. So it's not about richness like that. But have you ever had a dinner? Somebody's fixed you a great meal, and then they bring out dessert. And it is a slice of chocolate cake. I mean, it is delicious. And they put vanilla ice cream on it. And you're eating the cake and you're going, oh man, this is the richest, most wonderful thing. And I am so satisfied with this cake. The funny thing is, about 4 hours later, even though you've stuffed yourself, even though you've had all you can handle, and you never want to eat again, 4 hours later you're going, I'm hungry. I need something. Jesus said, I want to give you a rich life, like the chocolate cake, but instead of that, something that lasts, something that carries you forward. And then he says, a satisfying life. I want to give you something that you get up every day and you go, man, I'm excited about today. I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait for what's going on because I just like life. And Jesus said, there really is a life like that there for you. And I would venture to say that most of us don't live in that. Most of us don't deal with that on a daily basis. We live, we got a job to do, excuse me, and we got things to do, and we got pressures on, and we try to get it done, and we try to survive, and then try to have fun once in a while, on a weekend or going on vacation. But for the most part, our work is just, our life is just drudgery. And Jesus said, that's not what I came for. I came to give you life. I came to give you a life that is full, that is rich like chocolate cake, a life that is satisfying, that you look forward to every single day. Most of my life, I wanted to go my own direction. But as I've gotten older, I don't want to miss it anymore. And I still do from time to time. From going in the wrong direction. So he has a life for me. Why am I so afraid of it? Yeah, I mean, if he really does have a life for me that's going to be rich, that's going to be full, that's going to be, it's going to be satisfying, I'm going to love what I do, I'm going to love getting up every day, why am I not living in it? Why do you not live in it? Why do we go in a different direction? Well, it could be one of two or three reasons. One reason could be because, well, it's a Christian thing. And we've seen Christians. Christians are not the nicest people. They don't care for other people very much. They complain about things all the time. They're just like everybody else. And yet Jesus called us to a full, rich, satisfying life. We ought to be encouraging. We ought to do things like that, but we don't see it much. You go to church and you see people who act all nice on Sunday, and then the rest of the week you don't want to deal with them. You don't want to see them because they're not nice people. And so it could be because it's kind of what has been put out there. But I think the real reason why we don't do it is because we want what we want, and we don't think that's what we want. We want to go in our own direction. We want to go our own way. And it'd be okay if God would just line up with me. He'd give me everything I want to get where I want to be, to get what I want, and it would be incredible. But it doesn't work that way. God called us up. Do you know that he created you? He created you uniquely. He knows exactly who you are. He knows exactly what's in you. He put it there. He put something inside of you that he wants to call out to use in the world that will be incredible. You're like a 10 at it. Maybe you've never found it. Maybe you found your job, but you're doing okay with your job, but you never found out what it is truly that you have been created to do. I mean, you do it, and when you're doing it, you just feel alive. God said, that's why I created you. Jesus said, that's why I came, to help you to find that. To find what it is you were created for. We talk about confessing to God our sins. And it's just kind of occurred to me this morning as Carl and I were talking on the way. We think that God is all angry with our sin. And in a sense he is, but he's not angry with us. He's not mad at you for what you've done. He's mad at the sin that has pulled you off track of where you're supposed to be. And so when we're supposed to pray to God and confess our sin, it's not about, we've got to be clean in that sense. It's about God saying, man, you need to get back on track. Leave it behind. Come my direction, because I have the life for you. And there are all sorts of things that can derail that. All sorts of problems that can, and worries, and we just say, well, we can't get there. But God says, if you will just follow me, step by step, I will show you how to have the life you always wanted. So let me ask you a question as we're kind of wrapping up here today. What is the life you've always wanted to have? Think about it for just a minute. If you could have the life that you think is the best life in the world, what would it be like? My guess is that most of us would say some of the same things. Well, I'd like to have a lot of money so that I don't have to worry about bills, so I can get what I want. Maybe I want a plane so I can fly wherever I want, whenever I want. I'd like to have a job. If I have to have a job, I'd like it to be fun. Doing something I really like to do. And my family. I'd like my family to get along. You know, I'd like everything. I'd like my kids to respect me. I'd like to have the most beautiful spouse, the most wonderful husband. I want everything to be just absolutely perfect all the time. And I just get up every day and I go through the day and everything is tremendous. It's probably kind of what you're thinking. But I want you to move that aside and go beyond that. Go behind that. Because that's really where what your life, what you want out of life is. And I think I can tap into it a little bit here. Not because I'm wise, but because I understand myself. And God's shown me. I think the most important thing in the world to you is contentment. I think the most important thing in the world to you is to be able to get up every day and just be satisfied. To enjoy each and every moment and to go forward. I can't think of a better life than doing that day after day, week after week, time after time. I mean, I'm just satisfied. You go to bed at night and you go, wow, wasn't it a great day? You know, we had bad things that happened, good things that happened, but man, I'm just where I'm supposed to be, and it's contentment. Jesus called us to contentment. Jesus called us to enjoy life. Do you know that? We're not supposed to just drudge our way through life. We're supposed to enjoy life. We're supposed to enjoy the people around us. And not just cuss at them when they cut you off in traffic or they get in front of you in line at the grocery store. But we're supposed to enjoy and interact with other people. And just since the last 5 or 6 years, I am just beginning to see this. I talk with people. I enjoy it. I interact with other people, and we do things together, and I feel fulfilled. For the first time in my life, there are times when I feel content. I'm happy with where I am. There's no other life I would trade for, and that's been very rare, because most of my life I would have traded for this guy or for that guy, or he has that, if I could just have this. And there is no one in the world that I would trade my life for right now. And I don't know if you can understand it or not, but that's what God has for you. He has the life you've always wanted. That's what Easter's about. Jesus came. He died on a cross. It's a horrible cross. And yet he died in our place to offer us a full, an abundant, a rich life. That's what we're created for. So here's the deal. The life you've always wanted. There really is a plan. There really is something that you can do to get to this lifestyle. First thing is to follow Jesus, but beyond Jesus, there's a lot of things that we need to do. We're not going to talk about them this morning. If you're interested to find out about the life you always wanted and the things that you need to do to get there, come back next week. Because the things that you think I'm going to talk about are not the things that Jesus says. The things that you think, oh, this is what he'll say. No. You're going to be surprised. But my invitation to you is to next week come here and find out what it is you need to do to begin to get the life you've always wanted. Let's pray. Father, thank you for your word, and thank you for its truth, and thank you that you do have a life for us. Lord, I pray that you'll move in the people's hearts and that you'll bring them back so they can hear what you have to say about how to live life to get the life they really want. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Who do you run to when things go south? I want everybody to think of that person in your life that's always that steady constant for you. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's that mentor, that older, wiser person that always knows just what to say. They can always help you out. Maybe it's your best friend. Think about that person. And whenever you go to them for a problem, you say, this is really falling apart, I need your help. How many times has that person let you down? How many times have you said, I need your help, and what they say in return is just something off the wall, something that doesn't make sense, you really weren't expecting that, and you're disappointed that this person has let you down. You're going to continue to be disappointed if you keep that person on the pedestal where God belongs. If you keep running to them instead of God with your problems, you will keep being disappointed. That's heavy. Jesus died for you. Easter is when we celebrate Jesus' death and his resurrection. And he died and he spent 3 days in hell, hoping that you would make the decision to put him where he belongs, to trust him with your life, and to say, God, I'm going to run to you with my problems, and I'm going to follow you. I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm going to fail, and that's okay. But I'm going to keep putting you where you belong and quit trusting in people. Jesus died for you. If you want to make that decision today, if you want to trust Jesus with your life, get your bulletin out. It's got a place for you to write prayer requests. It's got a place for you to make a decision. If you're a first-time guest here, we want to know who you are. Just fill this card out. Get it out right now. Put your name on it. We're not going to call you out, but we want you to come back. We want to help you get the life you've always wanted. Over on the side, on the far ends, there's a bucket. We're going to take our offering now. If you will grab those silver buckets, fill out this card, pass them all the way towards the middle of the aisles and over. We'll take our offering right now. We want to invite you back. Thank you for coming and spending Easter with us. This is a very, very special day, and we rejoice and celebrate with you. And please just pass those forward. Right now, we're going to have, while you guys are passing that forward, we're going to have the children come in, and they're going to do a special song that they've been working on for quite a while. They're very proud of it. But we thought that you guys would want to know what's going on over in the children's area, what they've been working on. They've been doing a fantastic job with these children, and they are excited to come every Sunday. My kids have to be here way longer than all the other kids, and they don't complain at all. They go back there and they have fun from start to finish, and it is amazing the things they're doing with the kids. So we're going to play a video while they come up and get ready, and you guys are going to be in for a treat.